Good evening. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and of course 99.5 FM. It is now 19 hours 20 on the dot. Time for the Glenn Lyle Show. Tell it as it is. I'm Kevin Smith replacing Joseph Enlightment this evening. And a quick message from Mr. Glenn Lyle. Last Friday he was not here. He was absent, and I've never seen him so happy in his entire life to miss just one program. And I promise you, he will explain that as the show goes on. However, let's get going. Mr. Lyle, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Kevin. Miss Harris, Mr. Anthony Bernard. Kevin, it's not good to lie, you know. I was not happy. I went out to make myself happy. But I received some calls and I felt a little sad. Today, as we celebrate Emancipation Day, Freedom Day, I just want to say namaste to all the listeners out there. We should all ask ourselves, is Guyana free?
No.
And how free are we?
Definitely not free. No.
Fellow citizens, my brothers and sisters, I'm happy to be back here tonight with all of you. Honestly, I didn't feel appreciated or missed that much until I was bombarded with messages on my phone asking where you're there. We miss you. Hope everything is okay with you. I did miss you guys too. Man, but you guys gotta remember, I have a life too, okay? And there's only so much time in a day. And also I can only do so much. So, having missed Friday, there's lots to talk about tonight. So let's catch up on what we have missed out. Today, as we are celebrating emancipation, freedom from slavery, chains and shackles, when our African brothers and sisters were forced to come here, till here in Guyana, by the white people and beaten to work on their plantations, now our plantations, to enrich them meaning the white folks, and develop their countries. You hear me? Their countries. Our ancestors were brought here, beaten, to take out the wealth from Guyana, to enrich them, their countries. Mm-hmm. The iron shackles were removed. When 183 years ago, telling us we are free. You are now free to decide your fate. You are now free to choose and act for yourselves. But let me ask you this, brothers and sisters. Are you really free? A Jamaican icon named Bob Marley once said that in order to be truly free, you have to free yourselves from mental slavery. Yes. And that is what we need to do today.
Definitely, yesterday.
Now, more than ever. Because we are heading towards slavery all over again.
Definitely, we already there.
Let me repeat this. We are heading towards slavery all over again. But this time, not with shackles and chains. This time they are doing it in a modernized way, in a civilized manner. This one is economic slavery, economic colonization. In fact, I think when I look at what is happening with our oil and the other natural resources we have in this country, we are already enslaved all over again. That is what it feels like and looks like to me. Brothers and sisters, during slavery, with shackles and chains around you, the white people used to beat the slaves, to dig the country's wealth out so they could take it to their countries to enrich their families and their nations. This is why you see the white people countries, places like America and European countries, are today the shining stars of the world. Man, is everybody want a visa for go to America and England these days? Let me make this clear to all of you, brothers and sisters. Is the wealth from countries like Guyana, Africa, India, and other parts of the world make them who they are today. To build all those skyscrapers, huge airports, and lovely railways and highways. Guyana, they said they freed you. Let me ask again.
Are we free?
Are you really free? Is Guyana's wealth really developing Guyana or another man's country? We are not free. They are back, tying us up with all these one-sided contracts that is ripping the flesh and blood out of our bodies. We are dying on our feet without knowing how the oil people, pouring billions and billions in expenses on us. Guyana is one big slave plantation all over again today. And everybody is quiet. Every single citizen of this nation is quiet. Ask yourselves, or look and see who is really benefiting from our gold, our diamond, bauxite, timber, and now our oil. What has changed from then to now with our country's wealth? You tell me. Please, because the only thing I can see is they remove the chains and the shackles from us. But we are still slaves, and many of you don't know it.
That's the sad part.
Remember, I said Bob Marley, he said it in a beautiful song. True freedom is freedom from mental slavery. Our minds are so enslaved that we can't think for ourselves, speak for ourselves, or act on our own behalf. Yes, we depend on the politicians to tell we how good we there and how good we gonna become. You guys can see they are joining with the Exxon Mobiles to enslave us, just like the white masters used to do back in those days, using the house slaves to entice the field slaves to be obedient to their masters. This is the reason why, guys, this is the reason why every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I try to enlighten and educate you on what is going on, what is taking place with your wealth, our children's wealth. so that you can begin to free your minds and open your eyes to this new type of slavery, what I call economic slavery. Yes, in this 21st century we in, Guyana are still slaves. And you need to understand that and wake up. Open your eyes to truly free yourselves. Guys, we are still slaves. This is a new form of slavery. Not for sugar and tobacco anymore, but with our oil, gold, and the rest of our resources. Guyana, we must be free to determine how our vast resources, our wealth, our assets is being managed. We must be the ones in charge. We must have the final say. We are the bosses. You are the bosses. The leaders of this nation have been put there. Let me tell you again, man. The leaders of this nation have been put there by you, the people, to work on your behalf, to protect our interests. Because Guyanese are the owners of every blade of grass. Yes, we are the owners of every drop of water, every pennyweight of gold, every piece of wood, and every drop of oil. Guys, when you begin to raise your voices to these leaders, telling them what you want, then and only then you will begin to see the first step towards economic freedom, true freedom, money freedom, money in your pocket to live the life you really want to live, the life you should be living, the life you deserve to be living with the kind of resources we have that belongs to you. Not President Ali, Vice President Jagdeo, Harman or Granger, not Rusal, not Baishanlin, not Omai, not Troy Resources, not Aurora Gold Mines, and certainly not Exxon Mobil, to decide what is for us with our own thing. No, man, no. No. They must not decide how much they will take for themselves, and we got to accept whatever they decide to throw at us. No, man. No. Please, let us don't accept that. It must be the other way around. We are the owners of this wealth, and we must be the ones who have the freedom to call the shots and tell them, this is not for me. This is for me, and that is for you. That is what true economic freedom and emancipation means to Glenlal. What about you? What about you, Bernard? Tell your leaders to fix the Exxon contract, or tell them in a nice way to pack up and get out. We can't handle no more slavery. We went through too much. Our ancestors, our foreparents went through enough. Guys, how can you call a nation truly anticipated when foreigners coming here, calling the shots on anything and everything, how the hell a nation can be free when foreign companies come in this country, take our wealth, pay less royalties than our own citizens, walks away without paying any taxes, destroy our country's infrastructure, the roads, bridges, and so on. Guys, open your eyes when you're moving around the country and you will see. You will see it's already happening all over. Yes, we are still slaves in this 21st century because Guyana's wealth, this country's wealth, is still being exploited by the foreigners in every sector, every second of the day, to fatten their countries and their people. That is what you call economic slavery, guys? Huh? And we have to free ourselves. We have to free ourselves from that. And we got to do it now. Stop sleeping. Wake up. Stand up. Defend and protect your property, your wealth, your resources. It's yours. It's your livelihood at stake. Man, during slavery, they had something called the cat o' nine tail that they used to use to beat our ancestors, to work in the fields, to fatten their pockets. Now our leaders joining with the foreigners, beating our children, not with the cat o' nine tail, but with tricks, skullduggery, and race talk, to get them to go along with the schemes the slave masters are now using. In the old days of slavery, I am told, they used to use some of our own brothers to beat our foreparents to keep them in line. Follow orders and make sure them do the work in the fields. They used to call them the overseers. Brothers and sisters, Guyanese, this time around, with this new type of slavery, this modern day slavery, the foreigners using our own politicians as overseers to do the same thing.
Definitely.
Keep us in line, follow their orders, dance to their tune, their music, putting us to fight against one another, turning us against each other, while their pockets, their friends' pockets, are running over with our wealth. Yes, they're using our politicians to keep us fighting among ourselves, and in the process, our children and their children's lunch kits empty. All of us are being robbed. Wake up, Guyana. They are using our politicians to divide and rule us. And while we fight, they fetch. Yes, we fight and them fetch. The old masters used to get the slaves for spy upon one another. Now the new ones, local and foreign, have surveillance cameras and systems, internet friends to hack us, and pay money to buy out our people. Is that not slavery? Isn't that a slavery system all over again? Bernard? Isn't the same operation going on? They're still hacking the Kaieteur News website every day. They're buying out reporters from all over who were exposing their moves, them thieving out with people just because they want to keep the nation in the dark as to what they're doing. They will thief or buy out anything or anyone who is opposed to their agenda. Yes, the slave master's mentality. You know why this is happening, guys? It is because of you. Many of you just plain dotish. Some of you can't see beyond your nose tip. Many of you can't open your eyes to see how you're being used and is just being kicked around the place. Like a political football for the politicians. Yeah, man. You can't see that they're in bed with these foreigners covering under the same blanket, working out deals to continue to economically enslave us all over again. You can't see that. I listened to an African pastor in the US yesterday in which he ridiculed his own people, the Africans, the non-whites in general. He said we are backward and stupid. We have no morals. We have no brains. We, the non-whites, the man said, have built nothing of significance in the world. He said all we know to do is build on grass and sand. Man, you got to hear how this man went on in the church to degrade us, non-whites. He compared Africa to the Western world and how they did nothing for themselves. And that's why they are living in so much poverty today. Man, if I could have reached through the TV and grabbed that idiot, they would have had to invent a charge for me for murdering a man through the TV. Because I have an answer for that fool, that idiot. Brothers and sisters, he is a perfect example of the third world leaders, like our leaders here too. He cannot begin to fathom. He cannot understand that the white man went into those countries, fetch away every single thing that has value, and left them people with only the grass and the sand. Not only to build on, but to live on. I want to meet and tell him, if a man fetch out every piece of wood, carry away every stone, carry away every piece of wealth, what are you going to build with? How are you going to uplift yourself? How are you going to develop your country? How are you going to build schools to educate your people? How are you going to build hospitals to take care of the sick? How are you going to better the people's lives if there's nothing left for the people? I wanted to ask him those questions. But I can't. I'm going to try to find him though online. Guyana, that is where we heading with these foreigners. And 30 years from now, you would hear leaders jumping up saying, like that same idiot, Guyanese didn't do nothing to develop the country. It's a good thing. It's a good thing though, we got enough sand and stone. So we ain't gonna build our houses on the grass, sand and the grass. according to that idiot. But for certain, starvation will be. Crime will be. It is already taking the streets now. I keep warning y'all every single day. Rob Street in Georgetown is becoming the name and nature. We carried that story yesterday where some people had to resort to robbing their people to live. Right on Rob Street. There's a feud going on there right now between the foreign people and the locals. They're robbing the foreign people every hour of the day, right there. Guys, this is the 21st century, and we really have to emancipate ourselves. Like I said, this freedom I'm talking about is not from shackles and chains, but economic freedom, money freedom. We can truly make this country into a Dubai overnight if we only demand what is rightfully ours. That is emancipation. That is true freedom. When we can raise our voices to fight, defend, and protect what belongs to all of us. Freedom. Yes, freedom. Hear this. Hear this one, please. When the Norwegian people can lay a 44-inch pipeline, a 725 miles long from Norway to England, and pay 3.8 million US dollars per mile, while ExxonMobil charging Guyana to lay a 12-inch pipeline, 140 miles long, 3 times smaller the size of Norway pipeline, at 4.7 million US dollar per mile. It speaks volumes as to who in charge of our freedom, our economic freedom. Let me repeat this thing for you, understand what I said there just now. Norway lay a pipeline, almost 4 feet pipeline, to England, and it cost them 3.8 million US dollar per mile. Guyana lay a 12-inch pipeline, 12 inches pipeline, and it cost them 4.7 million per mile. This is economic freedom. Are we really emancipated economically, guys?
Definitely not. Not at all.
Or is it economic slavery all over again?
Modern day slavery.
You tell me. How can a 12-inch pipeline cost 1 million American dollars more per mile than a pipeline 4 times the size? Can somebody tell me? Can somebody tell me the maths ExxonMobil is using to come up with these contract figures?
Keep your food.
Wait, man. These people just wake up each day and just come up with these fees and these costs, throw it at us without us having a say and tell us just pay. Is this economic freedom or economic slavery? Man, tell me, man. Somebody tell me this thing, man. Mr. Jagdev is heading the gas to show the oil industry. Could he tell us something? We accept everything they tell us and do to us. Is that what we turn to in this land? Brothers and sisters, let me remind all of you. I am reminding you and I am repeating this. The Gas to Shore project. Gas to Shore project has landed many countries in starvation and depths that will take them generations to come out of. And that's where this man called Vice President Jagdeo and his team is taking Guyana. And guess what, brothers and sisters? Our opposition leader, Joseph Harman, is silent. They have not been telling this nation nothing whatsoever on this gas project. They have been silent on every aspect of Guyana's oil. Yeah, man. How can you say we are free when the leaders of this country is not allowing us to know, to see what is going on with our own wealth? We don't know how much oil coming up every day. We don't know how much going out each day. We don't know what is being spent every day. We don't know what is the interest rate we are paying. We don't know who's hiring who. We don't know who is checking where and what. We don't know how much we are paying for this and for that. We don't even know how our share is being calculated. We don't know who the oil is selling to and how much they're selling it for. We don't know how much money is coming out for anything. We basically knows nothing about anything going on out there. And it's not only that we don't know what is going on, we don't even have a say on our own wealth as to what is going on. Is this freedom to think? Freedom to have a say? Is this really economic freedom? Mr. Ali, Mr. Jagdeo, Mr. Granger, Mr. Harman, and all the parliamentarians, are you guys in a coma, or you want to put us all in a coma, back into slavery? Which one? Guys, gas to shore project, let's leave that out. Let's leave the pipeline. There is no guarantee that this project is healthy for Guyana. You hear me? Leave the pipeline out. There is no guarantee that this project is healthy for Guyana. Everything that is floating in the air points in the direction of disaster. A doomsday for Guyana. It's a travesty in the making. Hear this. It's a ticking time bomb. It is being designed to enrich a few private people and throw the Guyanese people back into slavery. Like I said, this time is economic slavery. Let me ask you guys, is this how Guyana going to develop into a first-class society? Building homes on rocks and steel with stone? Or will they be left to build on sand and grass without stone and steel? Guys, project like that, gas to shore, is to trap and enslave all of us again. Keep your head on. Keep your eyes open. Keep focused on what is going on. You see the difference? It's $1 million American difference for a mile to drop a 12-inch pipeline to the bottom of the ocean. Believe me, you're going to hear a statement coming out from ExxonMobil maybe tomorrow saying some Jim Crack McRam goat. Trying to defend that inflated cost difference. Yes, is somebody pocket they want for put those millions in. Them will come up with some fancy language and technical terms to defend that cost. You might hear them say, snow there under the floor bed. And it's extremely difficult to lay that 12-inch pipeline. Yes. Man, you might even hear we have steel mountains at the bottom of the ocean and they have to go up and down to lay it right. All just to rob you blind and throw all of us back into slavery with debts that our grandchildren would not be able to repay. Brothers and sisters, do you know who is behind all of this? Yes, the politicians of this country. Every single thing they do in this land with the foreigners is overpriced and overcharged. That is what you call emancipation. Freedom to spend, freedom to thief, freedom to hunch your every part of your body. Yes, these shameless enslavers, that's who they are. That's what they are. I will continue to pray for all of them, like I said on many programs. And I'll continue to pray for ExxonMobil too. That pipeline story, guys, was in the Kaieteur news yesterday. Yeah, I can get more details by reading the full story. It's there, just Google it. We carried another story in which a man named Tom Zanzillo, a U.S. financial expert, they did an analysis of Guyana's oil operation and put out a report. Wow. I just want to give you a little piece of the findings. Wednesday coming, I'll expand on it. Please don't miss it. I know that you guys are going to love it. The man's report revealed for the first time, you hear me? For the first time, that ExxonMobil parent company were based in Texas. Them same people were supposed to sign the insurance document. I remember giving us full insurance coverage 2 years ago and haven't signed it until now. Yes. Them receiving hundreds of millions from our oil for doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. But give it a name. They call it PCO, Parent Company Overhead. You hear that, Bernard? Yeah, man. The people describe the PCO, the business circle. They describe it as support services, human resources, security, procurement, and so on. That's what we are paying them for. And that is being charged. That is being charged on a percentage basis. You hear that? For just standing up and looking over. The report said they are being paid millions. You want to hear this? They said before 2020, guys. The year 2020 you're talking about. ExxonMobil collected, the parent company collected 73 million American dollars. What? And in 2020, them collect 35 million This year, they will be collecting 4 more. So they're going to be collecting 39 million American dollars this year. You hear how much money they're collecting? The report said next year, 2022, ExxonMobil parent company will be paid 53 million American dollars. And 2023, 64 million. And in 2024, they're set to collect $93 million. You hear them figures, sir? Mr. Tom Zanzilo, the director of the organization that did the report, went on to say, on those few years alone, is almost $500 million American dollar. ExxonMobil parent company collected alone as overlooking fees. You hear me, man? You remember how much Guyana get?
260 million.
Yes, 200 and something.
260 before.
Yes. So ExxonMobil parent company alone,
To do nothing.
yes, already collected more than what Guyana collect. Actually, double what Guyana collect in 1 year.
No, obviously, the islands belongs to Guyana, belongs to ExxonMobil.
Economic freedom, you call that, Guyana? You hear me? Yes, it's economic freedom, you call that, for ExxonMobil pocket, the daddy pocket. What are you hearing from the politicians of this country? Did I hear something? Or my ears is clogged? Please, if you guys hear something, let me know. Text me, my eyes good. I see well and I can read well. I don't hear well. You guys remember GT&T? Them used to do the same thing.
Yes.
Them used to pay them parent company ATN in America. Billions in fees. Management fees. Drink fees. Fees for the boys and fees for the girls. Robbing Guyana of our rightful share. You remember we had 20% share in the company, man. Don't tell me you guys don't remember that. President Jagdeo, they sell it out for 30 million American dollars. Something what was bringing in hefty money. More than what any business on earth could have give you. He sell it out. He collect 25 million. And guess what he said? Say he sent the 25 million in a Marriott for make nothing. You guys remember that, man? You guys remember Harmon been on a special plane too? Flying in private jet. And come back and say he been at China for collect the 5 million were missing from the 30 million. Yeah, that is how AT&T was GT to rip off Guyana. If them take out billions as expenses to pay their parent company, then certainly it will shorten your profit. You're going to get less money when things like that happens. When they pay ExxonMobil parent company nearly $500 million already in fees, half of that should have been in we pocket. Because remember we got a 50-50. Let me hear you. Profit sharing. Man. It's like a man working your mango field and you're all sharing the profits half and half after the expenses taken out. But you never know. The man who picking the mango paying his daddy a big percentage as part of the expense, and the daddy don't do nothing. He getting pay for do nothing, and then the boss, then the man boss, the profit and share it. That is what GT&T used to do to Guyana. And we now learning through an international analysis report that ExxonMobil doing with the same thing in secret. That is what you call freedom. Yes, anticipation. Freedom, is freedom to hide and thief. That's the freedom. Brothers and sisters, like I said, more to come on Wednesday. There is much, much more shocking revelations on Wednesday. Remember the interest rate? Remember, tell you all Guyana must be paying more in interest rate on the loans out there than what we are getting from our oil every year? You're going to really have to join me on Wednesday to hear what is going on with that interest rate and a lot more. You guys remember the question was asked back to President Ali, Jagdeo, Harman, Jordan, and we even asked the man who signed the contract, Raphael Trotman. And to this day, we never get an answer from him. But President Ali did tell a man named Borbis, when the man asked him about the interest rate, he said, "Oh, you're listening to the Glenn Lal show. We got the answer. We got answer for all his questions." He never unto this day answered the interest rate they're paying on a $20 million loan. As for the Vice President Jagdeo, we haven't heard a word from him. Yes, that same financial guru will run this country as president for 12 years. But like I said, you're going to join me Wednesday and you're going to hear what I have to tell y'all on that. As for the opposition leader, Joseph Harman, he did text me and tell me, them not in office now. Ask the government. Them is the and them is the one who signed the contract, Bernard. You hear that? This is the freedom. Yeah. Freedom of information on your own resources. That kind of behavior, that kind of attitude from your leaders, brothers and sisters, will left you out. Out. Man, it's not slavery again. I don't have the energy to call this word again. It will put you back right there. Today is Emancipation Day. Yes, Guyana. Please help me to understand how we are freeing ourselves from becoming slaves all over again. Please, can someone say something? I'll open the telephone lines. Kevin, please open the telephone lines. Let us discuss how free we truly are as a people, as a nation. And let's talk about how we can lift ourselves out of this 21st century bondage we now find ourselves in. This economic slavery. Please, I'm tired. Do you want to say something? It's sickening what's happening in this land. It's terrible.
Yeah, well,
you cannot enslave a mind that knows itself. that values itself, that understands itself. And I am not boasting, but I do understand myself in this world in which we live. And nobody will enslave Glenlal. I refuse to go where our ancestors went or been through. Yes, child, go ahead.
I think what's happening is nothing new. And it reminds me a lot of that quote by Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, where he talks about a tree without roots. I forget it. I was looking at it just today. But basically it's just talking about if you don't know your history, then you don't know who you are. You don't know what you stand for. You don't know your values, what you'll fall for. And that's just what keeps happening. This whole thing with emancipation, I mean, I hate to say it, but I was one of those people, you know, like the Lisa Simpson character. I was like, well, I mean, I'm not happy that it's emancipation. I don't see anything to celebrate, really. We're just talking about chains coming off, but all the same structures that kept people in place, in bondage, in enslavement, are here today. They just changed faces, they changed names, but it's the same thing. These wealthy countries come to these poor countries, you know, poor, so-called poor countries, and they make a fortune, they make a killing. They do nothing to help the people, and they just fetch everything out cheaply and leave the place completely destroyed. And it's happened already, you know, that's why they came here for sugar back in the day. They wanted the land, they wanted to plant rice or whatever, and they're back for oil.
Ms. Harris, they cannot come here and pick up our things without the permission of our leaders. They cannot.
The way
So
I
the
see
leaders are the people who we have to look at, who we have to shout at, who we have to wake up.
They are accountable to us.
but the
We
lead-
cannot just allow them to get away by being silent. The love we have for them, they're using that to take advantage.
Definitely.
and they surely don't love us.
This is why they're getting away with everything. You know, I have learned a long time ago in which a man says, if you can't stand up for something in this life,
For anything.
you will fall for anything in this life. It is so true. We have our own minds, our own love, our own everything, but we are not standing up for what we believe in. I have been talking to so many people out there, you know, and I'm asking them, what are you doing? You know, it's like, what are you doing? At least Glenn is doing something, you know?
Definitely.
Who are you supporting? You know, I am standing up. I am exposing. I am telling you guys. I am showing you guys what's going on with your own resources. I am showing you every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays how your lives is falling apart. I am showing you how we can correct it, how we can lift it up, how we can make ourselves into something, into somebody that future generations doesn't have to sit back, take the mic, and cuss down and abuse down. When we are gone, asking what we have done or why we didn't do this. Come on, we got to do it, and we have to do it together.
Yeah. When we think of terms like emancipation, independence, and so forth, even republic, we have to ask ourselves, what does these things mean to us as individuals? How does emancipation affect me as an individual? You know, we know where emancipation came from. We know how it started. And we've got to answer those questions. We got to know why emancipation was necessary. We got to know how it affects us today. And we got to know, how it was achieved. And if we can really think about those things, you see, guys like Kofi and Atta, they didn't sit in their homes passively thinking, well, look, we're slaves and we're just going to continue as it is. They stood up, they did something.
Yep.
They came out, they raised their voices, they galvanized their people, and they revolted. Because the system demanded it. The same thing is happening today. Glenn, you were speaking about the economic enslavement, and that's exactly what's been happening. We're being recolonized through economics, and there's going to be a tremendous effect, or it's going to have a tremendous effect on all of us, our children, our great-grandchildren, because they're going to be saddled with debt. Now, we have to do something. We have to emancipate ourselves and our children from that type of slavery that is to come. We can't sit in our homes and keep saying, okay, we can leave it up to the government and we leave it up to this one and that one. We got to get up and do something. Yeah? Because it's been happening with the physical enslavement. Now it's happening with mental and economic enslavement. And we've got to emancipate ourselves. We've got to free ourselves and rid ourselves. We keep talking about we're an independent nation. What independence we have? When we're wholly dependent upon the whims and fancies and desires of these foreigners that are coming into our country, taking our resources, recolonizing us in essence. And where do we go from here? What do we do? Yeah?
I have been asking to see the contracts of OMI and Troy Resources. And these things, I saw Aurora Gold Mine and I exposed that one. I am being told all over, I try to ask for it, that it's under lock and key. Only special people are allowed access to them. Now, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing to the poor people of this country? Why are you hiding this giveaway? Why are you doing this to the people of this country, Mr. Ali and Mr. Harman? As for Ramjatan, I don't know if he's wrong or what. You're not hearing nothing. Not a single word you're hearing from these people. We are not hearing anything, like I said, from what is going on in the oil industry. President Ali said today in his emancipation speech that he is committed to being transparent in the oil industry. And my staff asked him a few questions. I'm going to tell you guys about it on Wednesday. 2. What transparent? None of the reports, the key reports, is out there for us to see. Nothing. No production report they have released for us to see what is going on. Nothing. And this man is telling us that they are transparent in the oil sector. Yeah. This is taking us, man, beyond slavery again.
I heard him speak today. As you know, today is the 1-year anniversary of the government, and he spoke about development, and in his assumption, I would guess, development means that, because he spoke about all Guyanese being part of this development. And I really wonder what development he was talking about, because what they keep dangling before us is this carrot and a stick called jobs. And I couldn't help thinking that the slaves also had jobs.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Every single slave had a job.
Definitely. It's a pay we're talking about, not
So when we speak about economic enslavement, you can give everybody in this country jobs. Is what difference it will make in their lives.
That's right. That's
You
right.
see? So it's important for us to, again, we use the term emancipate. we got to rid ourselves of this type of thinking.
Exactly.
And again, I just want to mention Kofi and Atta. The two of Amwell Coffee is the most famous one that led those slave revolts. They didn't sit in their homes and just accepted it as it was. They came out and they did something to change it. And we all are grateful today that they did. Because we're no longer in physical slavery.
Enslavement.
Or physical enslavement. We're now grappled with economic and mental enslavement. So we got to rid ourselves of it.
You know, this job thing they keep talking about, you know, I feel so offended when they talk about jobs. Every project they embarked upon, the first thing they talk about, jobs. You give 15 people, 30 people, 200 people little jobs and you pay them peanut. And half of the salary they receive out of the job they get goes for transportation. I chat with an employee of the shore base at Houston. We carry that story. The man working for $118,000 a month. His passage, because he's coming still from Linden, is $90,000 a month. So basically he's taking home $38,000 a month. That is jobs.
So what's the difference with him and
that is jobs? I asked him,
labor?
I said, do you buy lunch? He said no, he bring his lunch. So if he had to buy lunch, he's just working to buy a lunch when the day come. And this is the kind of rhetoric, this is the kind of crap these leaders tell you. How many people got jobs in the oil industry? The man can barely buy a lunch with the monthly salary, and they're proud of that. You know, so it offends me when I hear they talk about jobs.
Not only that, the Guyanese people are being paid less than the foreigners for doing the same job, Glenn.
Exactly.
Right?
Or they end up fired if they bend them because they came to the Kaieteur News to complain that they are doing the same work what foreigners doing, and they are being paid less.
They're working at the same site and living in
Doing the same job,
even
yeah,
worse,
same place, same job.
living conditions than the foreign workers as well. That's another issue.
You know, the president also spoke about foreign investors and foreign investment. Now, this is a story that was relayed to me. There's a Guyanese, a Trinidadian company actually that is working in Guyana. Hires a Guyanese man to do the same job that a Trinidadian is doing in Trinidad. The Trinidadian is making approximately $1,000 a month, and the Guyanese is not even making 500.
You see?
You see, doing the exact same job,
Yeah.
using the exact same equipment, and it's not being paid at the same rate.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's happening on the supply boats. It's happening on the drill ship. It's happening in every sector of the oil industry.
Yes.
The locals are not paying it. They are not being paid the same salary as to the foreign people, although they are doing the same work.
So it begs the question.
People are telling you these things. People are talking, but they don't want to come out in the open for fear of losing the little job.
Now, these are things that they should have addressed in the local content policy. Issues like workers doing the same job,
Yes, I
having
think-
the same
what rate of
qualifications,
pay?
they should be receiving the same rate of pay. But
Yes.
I mean, I don't recall seeing that in the local content policy.
Yes, I think that's there, and they're gonna sort that out very
It's
soon.
still a draft, though. How many years into oil production
6
are we
years.
in? And
6
it's still
years.
a draft local content policy. Hasn't been operationalized. No
legislation
bodies
to
have been
back it.
set up. No legislation.
Yeah.
Nothing. So it's just
Can
a
we-
handshake.
So it means therefore, where is the true representation of the people? Where is the representation of the Guyanese people?
In
You
the
know?
sector.
Because to the end of the day, the oil companies are making money, they're working, they're functioning. So where's the legislation to protect the Guyanese workers?
Exactly.
Where are the laws?
Yes, indeed. If you want to add anything to the conversation or ask a question, any question regarding the topic tonight, you're free to call. The phone lines are open. The numbers are 226-7453, 226-7453, and you can also SMS or WhatsApp 622-2222. Very, very easy numbers, 226-7453 and 622-2222.
Kevin,
Yes, sir.
I am in an emancipating mood. And it's a holiday. And I didn't get to enjoy myself
You have to
enough Friday.
Right.
So maybe we can take an early night.
Yeah, we take the calls another day.
Yeah?
We take the calls
And
another day.
emancipate
calls
some more
another day.
information on the sector. That's what we need to do. Emancipate
Kevin?
all the
Yes,
information on
boss.
the
You're the
sector.
boss.
Yeah, man, let's do that. You wanna say
We
anything?
can carry
Sam?
on the celebrations this evening.
Hmm?
I said we can carry on the emancipation celebrations this evening.
Yes. I'm
We-
with you on
Yeah.
that one. I'm with you on that one.
We have to hope our brothers and sisters in this country join us and emancipate their mind mentally, and we can more live like brothers and sisters and look out for our brothers and sisters rather than foreigners coming exploiting us. Because the foreigners, they are just here to exploit us Guyanese. They view us as, even though we are not actual slaves in chains, they still view us as slaves because that's the way they treat us. Right? They treat us worse than the foreigner, than the slavery days and the owners, because at least owners used to they used to get a better treatment because if they get better treatment, they would be working to provide for them. These modern day slavery corporations, they just come and take profit and they don't care a thing about us. Look, our brothers and sisters gonna be robbing and killing us in the streets and they don't care. Once they get to take away their money, they don't care. They don't care about our well-being at all.
Guyanese have to care though.
Right,
That's the key
our
thing.
brothers and sisters have to look out for each other.
And we need to be united. There's strength in unity. That's one thing that a lot of people seem to forget. Strength in unity.
One of the chain of thought during the time of slavery is that a slave was not a human being. He was just 3/5 of a man.
Chattel,
And
chattel
the way
property.
you view something is the way you treat it. So when these foreign companies come to Guyana and treat us a particular way, and we allow them to do that,
Yeah.
it just confirms that we are not emancipated as yet.
Mhm. Well said. Well said. We can say God bless with that one. And guys, thanks for listening. Have a good night.
Good night.
Let's go emancipate ourselves.
ourselves.